Trevor Carey Show
on PowerTalk 96.7 and AM 1400. Write it down.
Hey, great news coming out this week from the Supreme Court of the United States of America, smacking down California with that crazy law they tried to do to tell pro-life that you also have to publicize abortion. It'd be like going into McDonald's and they have to guarantee that you have to tell them about Kentucky Fried Chicken right down the street. And if you don't like that, there's Long John Silver's. It's like, no. I'm so glad the Supreme Court struck that down. He is founder, president of Issues4Life Foundation, also founder of the California Civil Rights Foundation and the Frederick Douglass Foundation of California, Walter Hoye II. Welcome in, sir.
Hey.
Great to have you here. Tell us real quick what Issues4Life Foundation is.
The Issues4Life Foundation is dedicated as a 501c3. I got to make sure I mention that, but it's dedicated to reaching black leadership regarding the pro-life movement.
I was reading some of your literature to get versed up on you, and staggered to see that more black babies are aborted in New York City than live births. I mean, if that doesn't make people wake up, what would?
Oh, my goodness. That is a startling statistic. But now, I'm glad you mentioned that. We've got just a bit of good news. It was 60%. Now we're down to about 50%. So we're excited because all of our efforts in the black pro-life movement are really starting to pay off. There's a lot of good news, particularly in New York City.
Walter embodies, and Walter is the man I'm talking to right now, embodies the Martin Luther King Jr. legacy, standing up for the least of these, the vulnerable mothers and their babies. That's Dr. Alveda King, niece of Dr. Martin Luther King. She is so pro-life and out there working it hard, and that's quite an honor to hear that, I would think.
Her and I have become just lifelong friends. I've gotten to know her. Met her mom, got to meet members of the family. And I tell you, you're just not going to find a better soul, a Christian sister than Dr. Alveda King.
Walter, I can tell you, I went on the Right to Life bus up to San Francisco, like 50,000 people marching, and I've seen in my life some people who are pro-abortion, and they dedicate their life to it. I saw some people out there that were so vile, the things that they were yelling, the pro-abortion people who were picketing that march. I was not expecting that. I really felt like some hell was unleashed and some people crawled up. What they were spewing forth really was demonic.
Oh, there's no question about that. When you think about they're angry that a baby's life is being saved. You've got to understand that this is seriously demonic, and you know where this is coming from.
It actually scared me. It was like, hey, pastor or priest around here, I don't know if my prayers are going to be strong enough to fight back this evil that I'm feeling coming. It literally gave me like the chill evil feel, like, riding cross country with Manson or something. I feel like it gave me the creeps, like, couldn't handle that. How long have you been doing this, and did you change at any part of your life? Were you ever at some part of your life like didn't think it was that big a deal, abortion, and something changed you? Or?
Before we got into this, we were talking about my son, and so my son is the reason why I got into it. Before then, I wasn't even aware of it. But my son was born premature. He was born at 2.1 pounds. And he went all the way down to 1.6, but at 1.9, they called us in to have that doctor, parent conversation where they tell you there's nothing more they can do for it, and my son was just going to have to die. And I tell you, I prayed all night long, didn't hear from God. It wasn't until I came back the next morning holding my son in my right hand. And at that point, I began to realize what God had been literally trying to tell me. He answered my prayer then, and he literally said to me, Walter, this is what's supposed to be on the inside of a woman. And at that point, I knew what abortion was, and I knew what abortion does.
My daughter was born at 8 months.
Wow.
With gastroschisis, where her intestines. She's fine. She was fine, but she had to go a month up in a helicopter to Sacramento. But I tell this story that I was like, oh, I'm crushed. My baby. When I arrived, my baby in intensive care looked so healthy compared to those that, like your son you described. I saw things that shocked me. I thought there's no way a baby can be in an incubator, living, breathing. When you said hold it in the right hand, literally. It's like a newborn kitten almost kind of size. Some of these babies were,
exactly.
And they're alive.
And they're alive.
Wow. The whole thing about, and the thing is, I said this to the director of Central California Right to Life a few days ago, that it's really difficult to really talk to somebody about abortion who might not believe that there's a creator or a soul. But there are so many people that do believe there's a creator and that we have souls who still vote for these pro-abortion candidates and support them. Mm-hmm. You have your Catholic Democrats who go along with it. They know there's a creator and that there's a soul.
Absolutely.
We will never, ever on this earth be able to invent a test that tells us when life is sent. So I can't tell you when it happens. I tend to side on the side that it's when life connects, when science shows us sperm and the egg. We can now with science.
Oh,
how hard is it to convince an atheist?
Oh my goodness! Particularly when the atheist chooses when and where he wants to believe science. On one hand, the science is his best friend, and then when you get to the life issue, all of a sudden science is just not so reliable anymore.
You would think, I always say it tongue in cheek, maybe one day we'll be able to invent some technology that, like some kind of, Walter, like a camera or something that could take a picture inside that basketball bump in that lady's tummy right there. Speaking of basketball, sorry, that's a great segue. I was trying to think, how am I going to segue into basketball? We got to spend a few minutes here, and then we're going to get back to why you're in town. You are the chaplain of the Golden State Warriors.
Yes, I am. There's two of us, and I'm one of the two.
They don't need any prayer. They're too talented.
Man, I tell you, I don't deal with the fellas regarding the game, although sometimes I want to say something about the game. Uh-huh. But no, we focus mostly on the personal issues, and we deal with that from a biblical perspective.
Well, and okay, give me now. You can't say names. I know pastors and all that. You can't say anything. What can you say? What percentage of players might be involved with your chaplaincy on the team?
You can understand both teams are in the same spot, in the same room, and we may have.
Oh, but okay. So you do like a service?
Yeah. Okay.
Is this on Sundays only?
No, game right before the game.
Okay, so there's a service before every game.
Yeah. And they come in, and it's an opportunity for us to talk to them, for them to talk to us. And if percentage-wise, we've had as much as maybe 80% of our
participation.
Yeah.
You got the kind of job like you get to. It's like being Secret Service. You get such an inside look, and you can't go talk about it. It's kind of one of those jobs right there. That, but
absolutely.
But you know what? Saving babies is way more important. But let me tell you, what a life experience to have that opportunity with these superhero athletes in there. And see the human side of them, and realize that doesn't matter how much money you make, how much all this, we all probably still got the same problems, right?
Absolutely, and it's an honor and a privilege, and I just thank God for the opportunity.
All right. The prayers have been answered, because the Warrior games are literally like what I used to remember highlight reels looking like. They can go on those 6-7 minute runs where you forget the last third incredible highlight play because of what just happened. You must just be astonished at that talent.
It's amazing, and it just seems to be getting better and better and better.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, quite a life you're living here. My guest is Walter Hoye, the second founder and president of Issues4Life Foundation, founder of California Civil Rights Foundation and the Frederick Douglass Foundation of California, NBA chaplain for the Golden State Warriors as well. And he is talking about the preborn created in the image of God. I really doubted a lot about President Trump as a candidate, that he was going to literally stand up for the unborn.
Yes.
His flip of a story that he saw somebody in his life go through it, considering it, then he saw the young man grow up, and he said, how can I ever? During his first week of his administration, cutting out the Mexico City rule with the taxpayers.
Right.
What grade would you give the president right now?
Man, if you're pro-life, he's getting an A+. I mean, he's kept his promises. He's delivered on actually every single one of the pro-life promises that he's made during his campaign for presidency. And so, as a pro-lifer, I mean, totally dedicated to that particular issue. This guy is scoring A+.
Listen to how the Supreme Court today looking like another takeover that the president could appoint a conservative to battle Roe v. Wade. But Democrats are going to fight it hard. Here's Senator Chuck Schumer. Listen.
The Senate should reject, on a bipartisan basis, Any justice who would overturn Roe v. Wade or undermine key health care protections. The Senate should reject anyone who will instinctively side with powerful special interests over the interests of average Americans.
How do you keep your strength with the attacks that always come at the cause that you've dedicated your life to here?
It's personally, it's sometimes very difficult. When we're out in the public square, we're fighting. It just doesn't matter what comes our way. We stand boldly and stand firm. But there are some times that it's been very, very difficult.
Yeah, I bet. Because I was talking about that evil I felt being thrown at us up there marching in San Francisco.
That's real.
It was something else. So he's going to be the keynote speaker for the June luncheon for the Republican women here. They're fighting it hard in the Valley right here. And now, have you already attended? The word on the street here is you've been, I don't know if like the Golden State Warriors, you'll turn it down or not, but you were invited by Trump to go to a White House event, right?
Yeah, I was. I had, during the course of me being this pro-life in this pro-life ministry, I spent a lot of time in Washington D.C. and so my wife and I were just shocked that the president invited us to come to the White House, and we actually went. And it was just awesome to be there, awesome to be in his presence, and I thought it was quite an honor for us to be a part of that.
Now, wow! So. Whew. Golden State Warriors in the locker room, hanging at the White House with the president. Those are quite some stories to pass down to the grandkids. You have a couple. You mentioned your son. Have any of these kids turned you into a granddad yet? Or?
Oh yeah, I've got two grandchildren. And I'm awfully excited about that, and so I just feel God's blessing all over me.
There it is. He's going to be the speaker with the Republican women coming up. It's going to be Thursday. Is this a public announcement event of where it's going to be held kind of thing? Is this? Yes. So you want the public to come and attend. This isn't something that would be a head nod. Yes. Okay. Thank you. The Ramada Fresno North, Thursday, June 28th, which is going to be tomorrow. I can't believe it's Thursday already. I was thinking, well, Thursday, you got a couple. I was about to say, what are you going to do for the next few days here between now? But it's tomorrow already. That's right here at Shaw and 41. Tiger Woods back in the day could hit a golf ball from here and hit where you're going to be.
Yeah.
Back there. Do you ever shoot around with them out there?
Yeah.
Play a little horse or something?
I don't win, by the way.
Well, yeah. If you did, you would be on the team. If you're beating those guys. Did you have a good eye back in the day?
Oh, yeah. Back in the day, football was actually my game. I played at Michigan State, and I was very, very close to going pro back then at Michigan State.
Now, what position were you?
I was playing wide receiver.
Was that back in the Stickum days?
Oh yeah.
Because in that cold weather, you'd have to have that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Who was the Raider that had made it?
Fred Biletnikoff.
Fred Biletnikoff caught him. Now, are you a Detroit Lion fan?
Yeah, I still am. I love Detroit. It's where I was born. I spent a lot of years there, and a lot of great memories. And I definitely am still a Detroit Lions fan.
Pistons? Kind of hard with your word.
You got to understand, my dad back in 1967 was a sports writer, and he broke the color line in the NFL in 1967.
In Detroit?
No, he broke it in the NFL. At that point, they had players in the game, but they didn't have any black Americans in the front office. So Buddy Young went to the New York headquarters, in 1967, and my dad went to the San Diego Chargers in 1967. And we were the very first in the league. And so that's how we moved from Detroit to California.
Wow. Hey, can you call the Joe Pag Show and tell them we need to bump the first hour of his national show? I want to keep talking more here with Walter. This is quite some stories.
Wow.
Amazing right there. Well, listen, we're glad that you're here in Fresno, and the Republican women got a great speaker. Going to be Ramada, Fresno, North Shaw Avenue, and 41 tomorrow. What time does that start? Let's shout in there. Let Jordan know. 5:30. 5:30? 11:30. I was going to say, boy, that's some late lunch they're talking about.
Yeah, I hope it's not
11:30. tomorrow at Fresno North of Ramada right there, Shaw and 41. Walter, honor to meet you. The children out there that are going to be saved from all the efforts out there. And you know what? That one kid we're saving or that one kid we're aborting could have been the one that cured cancer. We can't play God like this.
No way.
No way. Thank you, sir. Great stories. This is the Trevor Carey Show. Joe Pags coming up at 6.